Last video we have discussed about the meaning of classification and types of classification. Today I will give some terms which are important from the point of the problem. The first term is called as class limits. First term is class limits. Now what do you mean by class limit? What do you mean by class limit? Class limit is nothing but the lowest value and highest value of a class interval. The lowest value and the highest value of a class interval is known as class limit. For example, if I take class interval as 0 to 10, here 0 is the lowest value and 10 is the highest value. So these two are known as class limits of this class interval. So every class has two limits. Every class has two limits. The lowest value, now for this, in this example 0 to 10, lowest value is 10. Lowest value is 0. This is known as lower limit. And the highest value is 10, which is known as upper limit. Upper limit means every class has two limits. One is lower limit, another one is upper limit. Take one more example. For example, if I take 5 to 10, here 5 is the lowest value, so this is called as lower limit. 10 is the highest value, so this is called as upper limit. Okay, this is the important term, that is class limit. Then the next term is class width. Next one is class width. Now, class width is nothing but difference between highest value and the lowest value. Or class width is nothing but difference between upper limit and lower limit of a class interval. For example, suppose again take same example 0 to 10. Now all of you know 0 is lower limit, 10 is upper limit. Now as per the meaning of class width, it is nothing but difference between upper limit and lower limit. So upper limit and lower limit difference is nothing but 10 minus 0. So the class width is 10. Class width is 10. Take one more example. If it is 10 to 19, here lower limit is 10, upper limit is 19. So what will be the width? 19 minus 10, which is equal to 9. The width will be 9. These are the two terms which are important from the point of problem. Now the most important term or most important one is methods of class intervals. Methods of class intervals. And this is the most important in this subject. There are two methods of class interval. There are two methods of class interval. In that first one is exclusive method and second one is inclusive method. Exclusive method and second one is inclusive method. These are the two types of class interval or methods of class interval. Now, how we will come to know whether the problem belongs to exclusive method or inclusive method? That is important. For that purpose, you should know the meaning of exclusive and inclusive method. We will go one by one. In that first one, I will start with exclusive method. I will start with exclusive method. Okay. The classes of the type 0 to 10, 10 to 20, or 20 to 30, etc. is known as exclusive method of class interval. Now here I have given you the example of exclusive method. But why it is called as exclusive method, that I will tell you now. Now in this exclusive method, always upper limit of one class interval is once again repeated as a lower limit of next class. This is the important one. the upper limit of one class interval is repeated once again as lower limit of next class. Take same example. I will write one by one and I will explain. 0 to 10, 10 to 20, 20 to 30. I will write one more 30 to 40. Now see, all these are known as exclusive method class interval. In first class unit, 0 is lower limit, 10 is upper limit, correct? Now, why it is called as exclusive method? Because this 10, that is the upper limit of one class, is again repeated as lower limit of next class. So 10 becomes the lower limit, 20 is the upper limit. Again 20 is repeated once again as lower limit, and 30 becomes the upper limit. 30 is repeated once again as lower limit, and 40 is the upper limit. The next class will be 40 to 50. You have to keep the same difference, but this upper limit should be repeated once again as lower limit. So here 40 is the lower limit, 50 is the upper limit. This is called as exclusive method of class interval. Only writing of this example is not enough. Why it is called as exclusive method? Because upper limit is once again repeated as lower limit. This is the main important thing. Is this clear to you? We will go for the next one. That is the second method. Second method is inclusive method. Inclusive method. Now this inclusive method is opposite to exclusive. For example, if the classes of the type 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, etc. is known as exclusive method of class interval. Why it is called as exclusive? Because the upper limit of one class is not repeated once again as lower limit of next class. See, same examples I write one by one and I will explain. Now if it is 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29 and 30 to 39. See here 0 is the lower limit. Every class has two limits, so 0 is lower limit, 9 is upper limit, right? So check whether this 9, that is upper limit, is repeated once again as lower limit or no. No. So if it is not repeated, here 10 becomes the lower limit, then it is called as inclusive method of class interval. 19 becomes the upper limit. Whether 19 is repeated here? No. 20 is the lower limit and 29 is upper limit. 29 whether it is repeated? No. So its lower limit is 30, 39 is the upper limit. So if the value or if the upper limit of one class interval is not repeated once again as lower limit, then it is called as inclusive method. If it is repeated, it is called as exclusive method. These two terms are most important because you cannot solve the problems by using inclusive methods. We have to convert this inclusive method into exclusive while solving the problem. That method is totally different. But you should know what is exclusive and inclusive. If the exclusive method problem is given directly, you can apply the formula and solve the problem. But if it is inclusive, you have to convert inclusive to exclusive. Then we have to go for the form. So these are the important terms. Before starting problem, I want to teach you. This is the most important. Okay. Based on this, you have the problems on classification, you have the problems on averages, you have the problems on dispersion. Next, all the topics are related to inclusive and exclusive method only. So be perfect in this. I'll repeat once again. If the upper limit of one class is repeated once again as lower limit, it is called as exclusive. If the upper limit is not repeated once again as lower limit, it is called as inclusive. This much you have to